Hi, my name is Arvin Talavera, and I'll be talking about the inequality in obtaining quality education access. Social practices are constantly being shaped by diversity issues in our modern culture. Various movements throughout history have made great strides in bringing equality and moving our society away from benefiting only straight, cisgender white males. There is a big issue going on with bathrooms a transgender person is supposed to use. This challenges certain people's social norms, and thus the need for change in social practice is becoming apparent. Hopefully, this will resolve and people can relieve themselves in peace. A topic in our studies that has greatly influenced modern society is human biodiversity. We learned that genetically we don't have as much variance compared to other animal species on the planet. There is also no proof that one race of human is greater than another. The myth of white Europeans being superior was perpetuated for centuries as a way to establish dominance over the places they conquered. These assumptions would trickle down through the generations, leading to things like segregation, slavery, and the Holocaust. Luckily, as time and scientific research have gone on, we have learned that no single race of people is superior to any other. Issues of diversity affect communication majors through the language they use. People who are blind or ignorant to diversity issues tend to use language a little differently than those who are aware of them. An example of this is how reports will use inappropriate language to describe people not of the social norm, making them sound bad at times, while people of the social norm are framed as innocent or as the victim. Modern society is affected by diversity issues in a huge way. We are currently trying to create a world where everyone can live in peace. Movements big and small have been created over the last few decades in order to make the status quo equality for all people. This creates a constant struggle because there are still people out there that believe in the old stereotype of what is and isn't socially acceptable in society. There are many benefits to overcoming issues of diversity. Everyone will have equal ability to marry, and work opportunities, and education, and being fearless in the choice to live true to themselves. The biggest challenge to this is educating the masses. People are raised with a certain idea of how things should be, and some more prejudiced than others. This leads to those in power holding down those that aren't due to what they've been brought up on. Educating everyone and getting them to understand equality is the biggest hurdle because we have to allow people the freedom of choice and opinion. The social issue I chose is equality for people of color for grades K to 12. What does POC stand for? It literally stands for people of color or person of color. Anyways, the origin of this issue is institutionalized racism, specifically white people having the economic advantage. The issue is mainly about people of color more likely sending their children to overcrowded public schools due to various circumstances. People who are impacted by this issue are families who have a hard time making money. This goes back to the white population having a head start in economically establishing themselves, as well as running the school systems. In turn, those affected are more likely to be non-white. It's important to know that these people are usually oblivious to how deep institutionalized racism has trickled down to this problem. So what is institutionalized racism? Institutionalized racism is what happens when social institutions give negative treatment to a group of people based on their race. This includes governments, banks, and even schools. By default, private schools exclude many children due to high cost of tuition that only the privileged can pay. People of color usually can't afford that, so they send their kids to public schools. The schools get overcrowded and thus underfunded. People of color have a harder time getting a quality education and thus have a harder time getting jobs into adulthood. This can be tied back to the myth of European racial superiority and the dominance it holds. This informs the issue by being the root of the problem and showing that the issue of K to 12 school inequality is a byproduct of a bigger social problem. This issue impacts the target population by keeping them mostly down with subpar education, leaving them unqualified for opportunities in adulthood. It's hard to predict the future of this, but I hope for a positive change in ending this problem. Ways to fix education inequality. This issue can be addressed by directly taking action towards making it better. Here are some potential strategies that can help. Pay teachers better so they are more invested in teaching the youth. Build more schools or add more classrooms to existing schools in order to reduce classroom sizes and give kids proper attention and supervision. Another suggestion is making online K-12 education low cost or free to children that are able to use a computer. To implement my plan, I would have to form a campaign to raise awareness about this issue and educate people locally and online. If I was in a position of governmental power, I would bring up the proposed strategies from earlier to the correct avenues in an effort to get them started. The benefits of this plan